this one. Well, that's what I removed the last time I drained the fluid. Yeah. So as of now, I decided that, I don't know how necessary it was to do, but decided to remove the exhaust a little bit so that I could get it out of the way, so I could get into this axle here, because I know I will need to remove these. But this one was a pain in the butt, because I needed to get a special tool to get to it. Well, the special tool, it was like the ratchet that curves, a special curving ratchet, and a deep socket, 14 millimeter. So now, the next step I want to do is I want to continue to remove the axles. Babies, and then so far I removed the other axle, like well, what I did on this one to remove the axle is I removed these the 3 bolts that the axle is attached to. There was like these 3 bolts. There was 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. Shit, that's bad right here. It's bad to do that because this is the oxygen sensor, and if these wires break, it's not going to work, and it's not going to pass the smog. So that's that one. So I removed that axle, the one on the passenger side. Now the challenge is to remove the driver's side. Because axles is something that I've never really actually done on a car before. Well, it's like the way I would typically remove the axle on a car to do the boots is I would like take this one off. I would take the belts off of this, and then I would loosen the boot, and then I would just pull the axle with the boot off, and I would leave this behind. But this time it's sort of necessary to remove the whole thing. So now I gotta take off this axle, but I had already removed it. But I'm just making a movie to show. Well, all I did to remove this axle was I just yanked it out. That's all I did. I just yanked it hard. But on some cars, on some axles though, well, I don't know how many percent of cars, but on a Mazda 66 1984 that I worked on before, the axle, it was an automatic transmission, and the axle, it was the kind where where there's no snap ring that holds it in place. So if I pulled it, the whole boot would come out, but not this. But I guess with most cars, the axles have the snap ring around this area that keeps it held in place, that keeps this and this held in place. So all we gotta do is just yank it out. So now I guess I did the basic steps of removing everything out of the way to get the transmission out of there. So then there might be a couple of little things that I still need to do it. But so I did the basic steps of getting everything out of the way. But now I still got a couple things to do, little things. And then the transmission's ready to come off. So far as of now, I think the way I have to comment it probably wasn't necessary to remove this exhaust, but well, you know, I'm new to this. So right now the next step I want to do is I want to remove this right here, or I don't know, yeah, I need to remove this. That's it. And then maybe, well, this too, I guess. And then I need to remove this too, the one that hooks the shifting link. And then I guess then the transmission is officially ready to come off, I think. And then I'm just gonna, oh well. Well, I guess some of the final steps I'm doing right now to remove the transmission is I remove these bolts. These 4 bolts, these 4 right here, are the bigger bolts of the transmission that I removed, and they came from here, 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 and no, wait a minute. Yeah, there was 4. 1 right here, 2, 3. It's in there somewhere, and then 4, and then there's a few on the bottom. Right now I'm just about there. And then see, there's one bolt that I'm trying to remove, and that is, let me see. See, the transmission is coming apart as of now. Let me see. There's a bolt in here somewhere. It's a 14 millimeter. I believe I had already removed it, but see this transmission, and then the transmission is now coming loose. Got that bolt off now. Now the challenge is to see if I can remove. It's hard to see, the transmission is coming loose, as you could see it. Well, as I see it, this is the final bolt that I gotta remove. But I've came across a situation where you know, I don't have enough leverage here, and I was gonna want to use the bigger socket wrench that I got, but I don't have a 17 millimeter socket for that one. So this is the only wrench that I got right now. And since I decided that I don't want to bother going to the store to buy these little things that I need, it's a pain in the butt to do that. So I decided to go get some of my tools and get this deep socket big enough to fit in here, and then throw it in there and use this as a leverage bar. So that's what I'm doing, and it worked. See, as you see it, it worked. So now I don't have to bother. See, these are the little clever things that I think of to save myself a lot of trouble, you know. Well, I guess the transmission, I just wiggled it, and now it's off. I wiggled it after pulling off the last bolt. See, it's loose. I was using this to help me pry it a little bit. Wiggled it, and it looks like it's off now. So I basically, bam. So I just wiggled it, and the transmission is ready to come off. So, well, after wiggling the transmission a little bit, it finally fell off. I guess what's basically holding it is this. It's holding it together when the bolts are not. So it seems like gotta figure out where the transmission leak is coming from. Well, you know, either way, I have to take this transmission to get it checked out. I have to take it in because it's leaking a lot of fluid, and I'm not exactly sure where it's coming from. But it obviously is coming from right here, so I think it's this part, I guess.